what is the main difference between galvanizing steel or iron or sacrificial protection of steel or iron? Have you listened to the question? Raise, says yes or no. Aman Beg, please बेटा आपको आवाज आ रही है मेरी? Question समझ आ गए? Don't search the answers. I gave the homework to go through metals.
Yes, Miss.
Aman
I
Beg,
have understood the question.
yes. Should I repeat the
Uh,
question?
Miss, I have understood the question.
So can you answer?
Miss, galvanization, Miss, what I remember is that it is specifically coating a metal with zinc, and the what was the other part of the question?
Sacrificial protection.
Sacrificial protection is occurs when a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal. So if there are two metals in a solution, the more reactive metal will react with the oxygen, and the oxide layer will.
No, your concepts are not clear. No, you're not talking incorrect, but you're not answering the question. Now listen to all those students who are present right now because the class has started. Listen carefully. The objective of this quiz is that I may also review your concepts. So don't get harassed. Aman Beg is one of the best students. His concepts is still weak because he hasn't gone through the notes in detail. Now listen to the answer, please, all of you. Sacrificial protection is where you put blocks or strips, very important words. Your O-level students, remember one fine day you have to take the exam, or this continuous assessment is very important too. So when you put blocks or strips of magnesium or zinc, not all reactive metals, please. Either magnesium or zinc on steel objects or iron objects like railway tracks, underneath of the ships, underground pipes. Whereas galvanizing is when you coat steel on iron object with usually with zinc, a coating, thin coating. Now that this is the difference. This is the difference. There it is, you put strips or blocks of magnesium or zinc where I have told you. Read the notes. This question has come in the exam in MCQs and also as theory question, carrying 1 or 2 or 3 marks. Both of them, this is the only difference. Whereas in galvanizing, coating, thin coating, film of zinc usually, not sodium, please. We don't want to say every reactive metal. You have to be specific in your answer.
Miss, I
Learn
said
now.
zinc.
Better you
In
said zinc, but you have to say thin coating of zinc. यानी दोनों का मकसद ये है टू प्रिवेंट रस्टिंग ऑफ आयरन और स्टील. मगर डिफरेंस क्या आ गया है कि एप्लीकेशन किस तरह की है इसकी. समझ आ गया अमान? और
yes, Miss.
ये इनका डिफरेंस है. और व्हाट इज द सिमिलैरिटी? बोथ ऑफ देम being more reactive, zinc in galvanizing, magnesium or zinc in sacrificial protection are more reactive than iron or steel, and they would first corrode and then the object made up of steel or iron. Is the concept clear, Aman Beg? Say yes.
Yes, Miss. Yes,
Okay,
Miss.
and I hope everyone don't feel don't feel that you are this quiz is to harass you all. This quiz, purpose of this quiz is, I will come back. The purpose of this quiz is my dear students, to revise. It's no use studying until you really know the concepts behind, because I have given you such good notes. They are not only shortcuts to the exam preparation, but they are also detailed. And you can read the textbook along with it and then go through the past papers. Okay, my dear Aman, since you have answered the question but not the concept, so I'm giving you 6 marks. No problem. Don't think that this is final. This is just, now I'm going to ask a question, one more, from my dear Fahil Aga. Fahil Aga. Fahil Aga, if you are here, please raise your hand. Fahil Agha, please. You are here? Yes. Fahil Agha, I am asking a question. Fahil Agha, I am asking a question, please. Listen. My question to Fahil Agha is, just a minute, please. Fahil Agha, just a minute. The question is on a concept, and the concept is just the concept, please. Fahil Agha, Aryan, no, please, my assistant, put Fahil Agha on unmute. I am to ask a question. Fahil Agha, the question, please raise your hand if you are here. Fahil Agha. Can you raise your hand, please? Yes, you are here. No, Fahil Agha, please raise your hand. I have to ask a question from you. Yes, Aman Beg, what is the question now from you? I'm asking Fahil Agha to
Miss
raise.
Fahil has messaged me that his mic is not working properly.
Okay, thank you. So Fahil, his mic is not working. Now we come to Alian Wasim. Alian Wasim, please raise your hand. Alian Wasim, are you here? Alian Wasim, can you hear me? Raise your hand, please. Alian Wasim, raise your hand, please. If you're here, raise your hand so I can ask you a question. When you will raise your hand, then I'll ask a question. Don't waste my time. Otherwise, I'll put 0. Don't avoid my question, please. Alian, you don't want to answer? Well, okay. Alian Wasim will get 0. He's not bothered even to respond. Abdullah Hassan. Abdullah Hassan, please raise your hand. Abdullah Hassan, please raise your hand if you're here. Yes, Abdullah, can you hear me?
Yes, miss.
Thank you, Abdullah Hassan. You are Abdullah Hassan of 11B, right?
Yes.
Yes, 11B. Sorry, because remember that I am taking care of so many students. You're only taking care of one teacher. So Abdullah Hassan, don't worry. I'll ask a very simple question. It will help others to know what they are not focusing on. My question to Abdullah Hassan is, reactivity series has applications, 5 of them you have studied. With the help of that, you can predict the reaction with metals with water and steam, reaction with dilute acid, their thermal stability, I'm revising, and their single displacement reactions, and also their extraction from their compounds. Now, the question which I'm asking you is that in extraction of iron, very simple concept. In the extraction of iron, the iron which comes out as liquid and called pig iron, and then the main impurity of the ore, silicon dioxide, come out as slag, calcium silicate. Can you tell me a simple answer? Is calcium silicate extracted from the blast furnace below iron or above iron? The outlets for the extraction of pig iron and slag from the blast furnace, I'm asking you a very simple question. Is the outlet for extraction or getting out slag from the blast furnace is above the outlet of
Miss, it is
getting out
above.
iron? Above. Very good. This is a concept. Can you imagine a 1 mark you will, in the exam you'll get 1 mark, but I'm raising the percentage to 10%. You are asked in the exam the question to label a blast furnace, and they show the outlets, And then they say, label the outlets, what is coming out of from them. And the position of slag when it comes out of the blast furnace is above the outlet position of your pig iron. Very good, 10 marks. See, these, I'm not dealing with your knowledge. No, it's your headache to study the notes and textbook. I have worked very hard with you in this, right? And especially my notes are there. I typed them, got them typed with my assistant and wrote them first for you people. So my dear students, the concepts I'm dealing with, as I gave you the homework to go through this, and don't feel bad if you get less marks. They are not ultimate. You are doing a sacrifice answering the question and helping the others. So my dear Abdullah Hassan of 11P, I have also asked him a question earlier. He got 5 and now he's getting 10 this time. Now I'm going to ask a question, last question from Hadi Hamood of 11D. Hadi, my dear, I'm unmuting you. You raise your hand so your presence is there. Hadi Hamood of 11D. Raise your hand, please, my dear, if you can listen to me. This is the last question of in the early morning session. Then I'll come to here. Hadi Hamood. Raise your hand, my dear. Please respond by raising your hand. 11D.
My hand is raised.
Okay, thank you. Now I can see. When I can't see, that's why I repeat. Otherwise, you know, the computer is such a barrier between us. But
Yes,
now your hand. Okay, my dear. Now, can I ask a question from you, my dear? Relax. This is not the question. This is the answer. So my question to Hadi Hamood, which I do not know in person because I haven't seen him, but inshallah, God bless us and we will meet again. Hadi Hamood, my dear, my simple question to you is concept again, and that is based on the topic uses of iron and steel. You know, iron and steel are iron is the metal and steel is its alloy,
Yes,
and they are used extensively in the world. The most usable metal is iron in its pure form or in steel form, usually in the alloy form. My question to you is, why metals are recycled? Give me at least 2 reasons.
Why metals are recycled?
Why objects of iron or steel are recycled? I have given you notes on recycling, right? So can you give me 2 reasons? What are the objectives?
Miss, so that they can be used again after they have been used for the original purpose, and they can remove the rust on them if they have any. And
No, better you're telling me the meaning of recycling. More than weight. I'm saying what is, okay, this is, I know they are reused, that's recycling. And how they are reused, you don't have to tell me the industrial process, the rust is removed and this is done and that is done. Tell me what is the advantage of recycling? Can you tell me what is the use of recycling? This is a quiz going on, so I'm not sharing the screen. I'm asking only question. Can you tell me why recycling is done? Because I'm telling you,
so that more metal doesn't go to waste, and the earlier metal that has been used before and can be used again for some other
but again
purpose.
you're
But
defining
because
the
it
term
is
recycling. So my dear, now
because
listen. Now
iron is
listen.
malleable, so it can be
No,
changed into something.
again you are not coming to the point because you have not read the notes. Now listen and please take advantage of the notes. I'll give you at least 2 or 3 main uses. Recycling is done of metal and their alloys because they are finite source. इन्होंने खत्म हो जाना है. और अगर हम, if we don't reuse the metal objects again, we will end up with no metal around us. The main use is because the metals are finite source. Finite का मतलब जिससे खत्म हो जाना है. Infinite नहीं है. Number 2 use of recycling, my dear, my notes are giving you and I explained also. Number 2 use of recycling is, are you listening now, my dear Hadi? Second objective of recycling is to avoid solid litter, and prevent the overflow of landfills. My notes are there. आप जब चीज को यूज नहीं करेंगे फिर से और वो biodegradable नहीं है, it will go into the, you know, the dumps which you have dig out in earth, which is called landfills. They will overflow. And the third use of recycling is very important use. It will help, it will enhance labor in the industry and add jobs. If Hadi is not there and has disappeared, no problem. The rest of you all are
No,
listening.
miss, I'm here. Miss, I'm here.
The only disadvantage of recycling is the expense, transportation expense, energy expense. Because you need industrial processes which need energy to be carried on. So please, my dear Hadi, I hope the concept is clear. Right? Say yes, Hadi.
Yes, miss.
Thank you so much. Please read my notes. Now, my dear students, Hadi, you are getting 6 because you have given only the definition. So please study with more interest. Now I'm sharing the screen for the today's lecture. And just to remind you, my assistant is now bringing the points on the screen. My assistant is bringing the points because we didn't complete. We only did the first 6 points. The notes were there with you on air. The last point we discussed was on carbon cycle. If my assistant is bringing on the screen, when it comes, you do tell me. Now, point number 6. My assistant is bringing it on the screen. Question number 6, please, which I discussed last. I'll just recap and then move to question number 7. Now, one of you please raise your hand and tell me, is the screen not on? Did you get the screen? Did you get the slide on the screen of questions?
Yes,
One of
miss.
you please. Okay, thank you. So question number 6, I have already discussed with you, but I'll recap. It was on carbon cycle, and I told you in the exam, the question comes, name the 3 processes which are involved in carbon cycle. I know all of you can: photosynthesis, respiration, and combustion. Then in my notes, you must have studied, or you will study, inshallah, one fine day. But those who are studying, they are great. They are doing justice to their parents, to themselves, to the owners of the school, to the admin, and to the teachers. And so on, God will also do justice. So my dear, I always give you ethical lecture along with chemistry because that is the best time. And I speak in formula statements. So my dear students, all of you know what is photosynthesis. All of you know what is combustion of fuels. And all of you know what is respiration of plants and animals. The concept is why this cycle is called cycle means something repeatedly going on and on, repeatedly. The question sometimes comes in MCQ, name the compound on which the name of carbon cycle is based on. I know the concept is clear, it's carbon dioxide. And that's the definition of carbon cycle. I'm giving you concepts. This is the way you have to study, like with wisdom. That is, I'm moving to the next point, please. The concept is, the definition of carbon cycle is recycling of carbon dioxide from the earth to the atmosphere and back to the earth. Recycling which compound? Carbon dioxide. And you can read the definition of them. Now I move to question number 7. Please, on your screen, focus on it. This is a new question: 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I will. Question number 7. The screen is moving, please. Yes, question number 7. It is a very important question, very interesting. You have studied in class 6, 7, and 8 also. And that is, what is greenhouse effect? Right? How does it affect? See the difference between effect and affect. How does it affects the environment? First, you should know what is greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect is named after, now please listen to the story. If you do not know, listen it with rhythm. So have patience. Greenhouse effect is, this term is created from a glass house in which the plants are kept in nurseries and they have nice growth in a glass house. That glass house is called greenhouse because the plants remain green in them. Why? Because the glass has the ability to absorb certain rays of sunlight when they are reflected from the earth and keep the house warm for the healthy growth of green plants. Otherwise, if the plants are kept directly exposed to atmosphere, during daytime they'll get the heat, but at night time, the temperature decreases. But the glass house maintains the temperature because the glass has the ability to absorb the reflected sunlight from the earth. जब जमीन पे धूप पड़ती है और वापस रिफ्लेक्ट होती है एटमॉस्फेयर में, तो उसको ग्लास जो है वो क्या करता है, एनकैच कर लेता है, it absorbs it. So the effect created by this greenhouse, which I have defined in a very simple way, my dear students, is called greenhouse effect. Now, this greenhouse effect is also created by certain gases in the atmosphere, and they behave like glass house. So greenhouse effect is caused by which gases? Main gas, carbon dioxide. And you know its source in the atmosphere. Number two, second gas, methane. That is marsh gas, which in our Pakistan we call Sui gas because they come from the Alaka of Sui, area of Sui. And the third important gas which can contribute to global greenhouse effect are chlorofluorocarbons or oxides of nitrogen. And if you see my answer, it says the greenhouse effect describes how greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and CFCs are increasing in the atmosphere and causing global warming. The effects of global warming, as I've asked you, if these gases become too much in the atmosphere due to the processes you already know, chlorofluorocarbons coming out of the aerosol packages, I'll be discussing it later, and excess carbon dioxide due to combustion and too much combustion and no plantation, so carbon dioxide is not absorbed by the plant but goes in the atmosphere. Methane, a marsh gas coming from the decay of dead animals and plants, and leakages in the industries. When this increases a level more than required, it imparts negative effects in the environment. And what are they? I have given you three in front. Due to higher temperature of, because the global warming is the main effect of greenhouse gases if they get in excess due to pollution. And the main effects are melting of polar ice caps, resulting into, causing into what? Causing into serious worldwide flooding, because due to high temperature, the ice melts, and especially low-lying areas, they get flooded by melting of this ice. Then comes our deforestation. Due to high temperature, the trees wither out, the forest vanishes, which are the houses of plants. Deforestation means janglat ka ghaib ho jana because of the drying or death of the plant and vegetables because of high temperature, which is not required. And then the weather changes with the rise of temperature. Not the season, the weather changes. It becomes hotter sometime, and humidity and various reasons due to global effect, global warming. So I have briefly discussed the meaning of the word greenhouse, the meaning of the word greenhouse effect created by it, and which gases, pollutant gases, if they are in excess, causes greenhouse effect created, and what are the effects of greenhouse effect on the environment. I have discussed three of them. Now I move to question number 8, and then I'll open up for discussion if you have any question. Question number 8 says, what is ozone? My dear students, before I come to the answer, I want to explain you, ozone is an allotrope. ozone is an allotrope of oxygen element. Now, one of my very, very dearest student who has forgotten the meaning of the word allotrope, Miss Siddiqui is going to help him and then help all. For allotrope, the phenomenon of allotropy or allotrope is when an element exists. If the screen has disappeared, please. When an element, yes, when an element, it is, when an element exists in more than one physical state, such as carbon, in one more than one physical one. If, sorry, I'm just my assistant is really messing with the screen, so I'm asking him to correct it. Allotrope is when an element has more than one structural forms. The physical state is the same, that is solid or liquid or gas, but more than one structural form. By structural form means the atoms of the elements are arranged in a different pattern. Like carbon has two important allotropes, diamond and graphite. And you know how do they differ? Not in their physical state, both are solid, but in the arrangement of the atoms. Is it clear? So oxygen has also two important allotropes. One is oxygen gas and other is ozone. They both are gas, but oxygen gas is O2 and ozone is O3. Oxygen gas has different properties than ozone. Oxygen gas have different uses than ozone. As I told you, the structure monitors the physical property and the physical properties of any substance monitors the use of it. Since allotropes are different structures of the same element, so they have different physical properties and have different uses. Now my question is, what is ozone? If you look at the answer on the screen, it says ozone is an allotrope of oxygen with the formula O3. It's a protective layer in the upper atmosphere. And why is it protective layer? Created by God Almighty. Which filters. It's protective because it filters out. निकाल लेता है, अपने अंदर जज़ब कर लेता है most of the harmful UV ultraviolet rays from the sun and prevent them from reaching to the earth. Skin cancers, ultraviolet radiation cause one major default in human being is the skin cancer. So my dear, you got the concept of ozone. Now nobody will say कि ozone कोई जिन है या कोई बला है. वो एक allotrope है ऑक्सीजन का. ये MCQ आता है. Ozone is an allotrope of, and they say oxygen, carbon, and all this. So please be very careful. I have gone into detailed discussion. Now I opened up the session. For questions, answer. I'm unmuting. If anyone has a question on question 7 and 8, please ask me. Please raise your hand. Where are the students? Please, if anyone has a question. If anyone has a question on question number 7 and 8. If anyone has a question on question 7 and 8, please. I'm bringing the screen. I'm asking my assistant to bring your presence on my screen. So don't mind if there's some messing up. So my dear, if you don't have any question, I'm unmuting. Anyone has a question, raise your hand on question 7 and 8 if you have not understood. I did my best to explain the background as well as given you the notes at the same time. You only have to either get a printer out or copy or preserve them in your computer. But please use them because you have to take the exam, not me. Okay, now I move to question number 9, please. If there's no response, then I move ahead. Question number 9. Now, as I told you, the ozone layer is present in upper atmosphere, and its job is to prevent ultraviolet radiation from coming down. the screen? Okay. The presence of students is very less, 25, and those students who are sleeping and taking it easy, I want to inform them, beta, well, it's your choice. My choice is to be steadfast. So no regret. Now this ozone layer, which is damaged sometime by excess human activities in the form of pollutants. Now please focus on it. This, you know, this O3 layer, which is present in the upper atmosphere, is get damaged, and in our common language we use it holes in the ozone layer. How they are created? The main gas, which you are going to study in detail about it in section 11, the last section, and hopefully we'll do it in life if God allows us. Chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. Focus on the term, new term for you. For many, maybe not for all. These are hydrocarbons, organic compounds in gaseous state. They were used, not their use is almost deleted, but they were used excessively in aerosol packages, especially. What's in aerosol packages? All of you use deodorants and all of you use shaving cream. I know you are grown-up boys now. And various sprays are in the form of aerosol packages where the pressure of the gas inside spill out on pressing the contents. So that pressure is created by a gas called chlorofluorocarbons. They are also expelled along with the content of the aerosol package. आप खुशबू लगाते हैं, खुशबू भी बाहर आती है और ये गैस भी बाहर निकलती थी. ये गैस, this gas has a special ability to go to upper atmosphere. It damages the ozone layer. How? That is my next question, will tell you the chemistry of how it damages. And convert ozone into O2, which is further reacted, and so it breaks the ozone layer and creates hole in it. When it does so, the ultraviolet radiation get a chance to reach the lower atmosphere, where I have told you the main danger of UV light is it causes skin cancer, other than other damage to the plants and other. Now, other than the aerosol packages, refrigerators or air conditioners used to use CFCs for cooling, creating cooling. You know how refrigerators and air conditioners work and how cooling is created by compression and expansion of the gases. You know all the detail. I'm not going to the physics. So they were also sometimes leaked out from these devices. So the main gas which damages ozone layer is CFCs. Other gases which damages are oxides of nitrogen, which reaches in the upper atmosphere by the action of, by the movement of helicopters and airplanes, especially which go into the upper atmosphere. Or, you know, the ships or spaceships, they convert oxygen into oxides of nitrogen, and which reacts with the ozone and damages it. So I hope you have got an idea that how is this ozone layer damaged? Obviously by the pollutants, not by created by, you know, the meaning of the air pollutants I've discussed earlier. These, when are in the upper atmosphere, they damage the ozone layer. Now my question number 10, and then I'll ask you any question if you have. What are the advantages and disadvantages of ozone layer? I'll read the answer. Obviously, the advantages of ozone is in the upper atmosphere. If it is present in the lower atmosphere where we reside, what are its disadvantages over there? Now, the advantage of the ozone layer, as I've told you earlier, as my answer says, is that ozone layer prevents the UV rays of sun reaching the lower atmosphere. The disadvantage is that ozone produced in the exhaust of engines when an electric spark passes through air or close to electric wires and rails of railways which are run by electricity can damage plants. That is, if ozone is created in the lower atmosphere, and what are the devices which can produce produce ozone in the lower atmosphere? I have discussed that. You can read from the screen. And when ozone is present in the lower atmosphere, it can damage plants and cause irritation to lungs. If it is present in lower atmosphere, because it forms photochemical smog. Photochemical smog is created when smoke and or chemical activity mixes with the fog and cause photochemical smog. So when ozone is present in the lower atmosphere, it will cause photochemical smog, which will damage our respiratory tract and can. So how is it produced in the lower atmosphere? The answer is there. In the upper atmosphere, it is advantageous. In the lower atmosphere, it is non-advantageous. Now I open up. If you have any question, please raise your hand on this on question 9 and 10. Young friends, ask me. I'm holding for a few seconds. Raise your hand. Go through question 9 and 8. Aman Beg, yes. Yes, Aman.
This can any other gas substitute the properties of ozone?
In the upper atmosphere, no. This is only ozone in the upper atmosphere. It prevents passage of UV light.
Okay.
Right? I don't think any human activity has produced such a gas which is combating the ultraviolet radiation of the sun in the upper atmosphere reaching the lower atmosphere. Please do research it. If you think in the Google, maybe, but not. My ears and my eyes have not read, but I tell you this is a good question. My answer is no, but in the upper atmosphere, but you do check it. Okay, dear Aman?
Okay,
It's
miss.
not. Otherwise, things would have been. Let's see. Any other question on question 9 and 10 before I move to question next question? Okay, dear students, now I move to the next, because today I have to finish air, inshallah. So let's move. My assistant is bringing on the screen the next questions of related to air. And you can, so the next screen when comes on the next slide, come on the screen, please. Next slide will be coming. In the meantime, I'm asking my dear okay, less students are present today, so I should avoid asking concepts question on metals, because I want them, they should be listened by everyone, the answers. Now my next screen is coming on air, which is very important. And this is the last screen which will be coming shared with you today, inshallah. And the topic of air will finish and we'll start water on Monday, inshallah, if life allows. Along with the homework will come to you. You can visit Google Classroom later. My first question is, what is flue gas? अब बेटा ये इंफॉर्मेशन ओरिएंटेड क्वेश्चंस हैं, तो इनका मैं आंसर पढ़ूंगी और ज्यादा एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं दूंगी, because the questions which come on these are straightforward. So my assistant is bringing the screen. The computer sometime, you know, trips and problem comes, so be patient. I think now we have become good friends along with the computer. It's almost more than a month. We are in contact with each other. So young friends, sit in a relaxed mode, then you can learn better, but not in a lazy mode. While answering, I saw Mohdin raising his hand, and I appreciate Mohdin has regularly attended the classes. He's more, so if Mohdin has again a question, please. Mohdin, can you, okay. Muhammad Iqbal is asking a question. So Muhammad Iqbal, please, can you ask me a question?
Yes, Miss. Miss, I have a question, Miss.
Gigi.
Miss, as we know that there are, Miss, currently there are holes in the ozone layer, Miss. So, can we human beings can artificially produce ozone and go and repair the ozone layer?
Go and do what with the ozone layer?
Miss, can we artificially produce ozone by chemical methods, and can we repair the holes in the ozone layer?
As far as I know, that ozone layer is naturally sometime, obviously naturally it is replenished, but all that what we can do is to prevent its damaging, and that human beings are doing. That is, we have stopped using chlorofluorocarbons in the aerosol packages as refrigerants also, as cooling agents also. Well, artificially an ozone layer by human being in the upper atmosphere, obviously human being can't interfere in the upper atmosphere, but what is damage is damage. That is why when we, for example, I'll give you a living example. When we were young, when we were of your age, when I was of your age, the temperature of the world was much lower, and since then it is raising. If human beings had created artificial ozone layer in the upper atmosphere, the temperature, the global effect caused by damage of the ozone layer and the cancers would have decreased, but they are increasing repeatedly. So as I told you that since I don't go on Google and don't go into the modern research, I always leave this on students. Go ahead. If you have some, share it. So as far as I know, I'm not saying that I'm final, but as far as I know, the upper atmosphere ozone layer is not repaired by human beings. Okay, but do if there is any please, Muhammad Iqbal, you're a smart student. Do share it to me on Monday if you go through this weekend. Okay,
Okay, Miss.
okay, darling. My dear
Yes.
students, now let's come to the O level syllabus. Question number 1: what is flue gas? ये एग्जाम में भी क्वेश्चन बहुत आए हैं, carrying 2 or 1 marks. The answer is straightforward. So I don't want to go into extra details. A mixture, you know the meaning of the word mixture. Look, I am a teacher of fundamentals or basics of chemistry. And that is why I have been successful in O-level program. Because that is what is required for learning, and that is real education. Knowledge is not education. Knowledge is a free commodity for every individual, but learning how to reach to the knowledge requires experience, and that I'm imparting you. So my dear students, when I define something, that is the basis of fundamentals of chemistry. A mixture of sulfur dioxide, you know, when you talk of sulfur dioxide, तुम्हारे दिमाग में बहुत सी बातें आ जाती हैं, कहाँ से पैदा होता है और क्या उसके properties हैं. A mixture of sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen like NO or NO2, right, is called flue gas. These are the major gases which makes this mixture. If you're asked to define, or if an MCQ appears on the term flue gas, these are the, as the name shows, flue का आता है तो आपके दिमाग में एकदम आता है यार इस मिक्सचर का ज्यादा एक्सपोजर होगा तो यार हमें नजला जुकाम तो जरूर होगा, हमारे रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक इफेक्ट होगा. Definitely it does. You have just read the effects of these gases individually. You see excess of them as pollutants in the air causes our respiratory tract infection. My next question is, what is acid rain? How is it formed? And what are its effects? Very straightforward question. I've given you some brief account of acid rain when I was dealing pollutants. Now, just on the screen, see the answer. What is acid rain? It says sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen, when reaches atmosphere as pollutants, you know, you have discussed that, how they are created, and they reach the atmosphere as pollutants. And these gases are present in the exhaust gases of vehicles and factories. They convert into sulfuric acid and nitric acid as shown by the following word equations. Now I'm defining what is acid rain. I said these two pollutant gases, when they reach the atmosphere, coming as exhaust from factories or vehicles, they change into sulfuric H2SO4. I'm not using formulas, expecting you to convert them into formulas in your notes copies. And nitric acid, HNO3, as shown by the following word equation. So now I'm focus on these word equations. You can convert them into formula equations and balance them. Sulfur dioxide plus water give us sulfurous acid. That is SO2 plus H2O give us H2SO3. Balance it. Now this sulfurous acid In the atmosphere ये सब कुछ हो रहा है मेरे प्यारे लड़कों. Sulfur dioxide निकल गई है by the combustion of fossil fuels, and you know the source. I have discussed that earlier. Read the notes. अब ये sulfur dioxide, it reacts with the moisture in the atmosphere, water, and change into sulfurous acid. This sulfurous acid, H2SO3, reacts with more oxygen in the air, get oxidized, and change into H2SO4, sulfuric acid. अब वो एटमॉस्फेयर में सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड प्रेजेंट है एज ड्रॉपलेट्स. ये तो सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड का जन्म हो गया एटमॉस्फेयर में. अब जन्म किस तरह, हाउ नाइट्रोजन निट्रिक एसिड टेक्स बर्थ इन द एटमॉस्फेयर. अगेन कम टू equation number 3, word equation. Nitrogen dioxide, my dear, how is it created? We are going to discuss in the next question. It reacts with oxygen of the atmosphere and water and form nitric acid. You can write the equation NO2 plus O2 plus H2O giving us HNO3. Balance it. This is your job if you are good students of O level. You're being taught by the teacher and focusing with a vision that such questions appear in the exam. My dear students, sit alert the way I am alert. Do you see me tired? No. My notes are there. Shortcut as well as detailed explanation for the exam preparation too and for understanding. Now these two acids, when take birth in the atmosphere, they come back to earth along with the rain. बारिश जब होती है वैसे नहीं. And the pH of acid rain may go as low as 4. अब सोचो वहां बच्चे बारिश में नहा रहे हैं एसिड रेन में, क्या हो जाता है एसिड रेन से ना. स्किन प्रॉब्लम्स, फोड़े, फिंसियां, ये तो इंसानों पे जो हो रहा है सर, फिर प्लांट्स का डैमेज, वो हम पढ़ेंगे आगे. द इफेक्ट्स ऑफ एसिड रेन आर, माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, रीड इट. नंबर 1, एग्जाम के क्वेश्चंस हैं जो मैंने आंसर दिए हैं आपको, समझिए क्योंकि मैंने समझा दिया आपको. corrosion of stone and metal work. You know stone usually contain calcium carbonate, and you know the reactions of acid with calcium carbonate. They get corroded. Corroded का मतलब है eaten up, खत्म हो जाते हैं, dissolve हो जाते हैं in salts के form में. And metal work, you know metal reacts with these acids. फिर skin diseases, number 2. Just take a bath in a water with a pH of 4, almost dilute acid. See what your sensitive skin will be damaged, how it will be damaged, you can visualize. Study biology. Number 3, decreasing the pH of the soil due to the acid rain, it affects the vegetation and plants by washing away essential minerals. आपके soil में जो कि which are very important for the plant and animal for the plant and vegetation growth. They react with this acid rain and they are washed away as salts. And the plants are devoid of these minerals and their growth is affected. Then the marine life, when the rain falls on water bodies, the marine life, which is plants and animals living in water bodies, how they are affected, you can imagine. So my dear students, I hope the acid rain concept is clear. Now I move to question number 3. Then I'll ask you all together any discussion. Question number 3 is, please, can you move ahead, my assistant dear? Question number 3 is, how is green effect created by gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and other oxides of nitrogen? आपको नाम भी पता चल गया कि ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट जो मैं डिस्कस किए पहले वो किस तरह होता है. So, फिर read the screen. These gases are called greenhouse gases, and when their concentration increases in the atmosphere, you know how? They have the innate ability, यानी उनके अंदर खुसूसियत खास मौजूद है, innate, of absorbing heat of sunlight reflecting from the earth, and thus can cause raising the temperature of the earth atmosphere or earth and cause global warming. This I have already discussed in detail in greenhouse effect, but I am refocusing it, naming the gases and their innate ability, their chemical ability, their ability in their chemistry to absorb which heat of sunlight which comes on the earth, reflect होती है तो उसमें से कुछ absorb कर लेती है वो. काफी जितनी ज्यादा तादाद होगी इन gases की मौजूद, the more they will absorb, and which will raise the temperature, and this raising of the temperature of the globe is called global warming. My question number 4, I'm going rapidly because the notes are self-sufficient in their explanation. What is desulfurization of flue gas? ये बहुत आता है question. You know the chemistry of flue gas is a mixture of gases. Desulfurization means removal of sulfur dioxide from flue gas only, which is the main dangerous gas, which is a mixture of gases. The flue gas, which is a mixture. Now, when sulfur dioxide is removed, how? That is before it is comes in the atmosphere from the exhaust gases of factories and vehicles, it is converted into some harmless chemical, and this process is called desulfurization. It is done, how is it done? By pasting paste calcium carbonate or calcium oxide on the inner side of exhaust chimneys of factories. The following reaction takes place. Please again focus on the word equations. I'm focusing. Raise up this screen. I'm raising up the screen so you can see. First reaction is when calcium carbonate in the paste form is given a film, the inside of the exhaust chimneys of factories is pasted with calcium carbonate. It reacts with sulfur dioxide coming out from combustion of fossil fuels and change into calcium sulfide, Ca, that is CaCO3 plus SO2 give us CaSO3 plus CO2. Balance the equation. Or if calcium oxide, which is quicklime, is pasted, the reaction is, word equation is given, I'm converting into formula, CaO plus SO2 giving us CaSO3. In both cases, you get calcium sulfide. This doesn't go wasted. This calcium sulfide is scrapped from the chimneys, उसको खुरच के निकाल दिया जाता है, and oxidized to calcium sulfate. CaSO3 plus O2 give us CaSO4, balance it. And this calcium sulfate is known as gypsum, which is used in the cement industry. So I have told you that mainly sulfur dioxide is produced from the exhaust of the chimneys because we don't use fossil fuel directly in the vehicles. We purify it and remove sulfur from it. But in case, then catalytic desulfurizers are placed in the exhaust of the vehicles, which are maybe trains or something other where we use this fossil fuel unpurified. But main desulfurization occurs from the factory exhaust. And the process, if you read again, you will understand. Question number 5. How is nitrogen oxide, NO, formed in the exhaust of vehicles? I told you earlier, my dear students, listen carefully. Nitrogen element is a relatively, exists as N2 gas, is a relatively inert gas. Why? Because of the bonding. Nitrogen in element present in group 5 of the periodic table needs 3 electrons to share with itself to form a triple covalent bond N2, which is strong, and lot of heat energy is required to break it. So that's why it's relatively inert and it reacts only with other elements under high temperature. How is it formed? How does it react with oxygen and come out as exhaust gas from the vehicles? Answer is due to very high, this is a pet question of O level. So very straightforward answer. Due to very high temperature, not the normal temperature, because high temperature is required to break the bond between N and N, nitrogen, and then react it with the oxygen. Due to very high temperature in the internal combustion engines of vehicles, the nitrogen and oxygen of the air, which goes in the vehicles, you know, because without oxygen combustion doesn't occur, and that goes in as the form of air, which contain nitrogen and oxygen. So that's why I said vehicles, the nitrogen and oxygen of the air, not of the petrol, please, combines to form nitrogen oxide, as the word equation shows. N2 plus O2 give us NO, balance it. So you have understood. Question number 6 is how does chlorofluorocarbons damage ozone layer in the atmosphere? Again, very important. I've already discussed you what are chlorofluorocarbons and how do they deplete ozone layer. The answer is there. CFCs, which are used as propellants in aerosol packages like sprays, shaving creams, or or as refrigerants, has the ability to reach upper atmosphere. When expelled from these devices, there they release chlorine, Cl, atomic chlorine, which combines with ozone, because chlorofluorocarbons contain chlorine, carbon, and fluorine. These are the 3 compound elements. The chlorine which releases from this chlorofluorocarbon combines with the ozone, forming oxides of chlorine and damaging ozone layer or creating holes in the ozone layer. I've given you the word equation. CFCs plus ozone giving us oxygen plus oxides of fluorine. Now, my dear students, I'm little tired. I've explained you for today. Now your homework will, and along with these notes, will come in the Google Classroom. Please go through it. If you have any question related to air, ask me on Monday. Do your homework, please, all of you, those who are present and absent. On Monday, inshallah, I'll start with water and discuss the homework. So have a nice Friday. Sorry, today's Friday. Yes, Good Friday. Great. And pray for me and I'll pray for you all and your parents. Please, Allah Hafiz.